February 21st, 2023. Dear Rachel, alien abduction is a particularly American thing. Why is that? The first popularized alien abduction case was the one reported by Betty and Barney Hill, an interracial couple in mid-century America. Barney Hill was already dealing with being black in America, and yet somehow most alien abduction accounts come disproportionately from white people. Are aliens just really into American culture, Coca-Cola, Walt Disney, and even American racism? I really don't think aliens would do something like that. What do you think, Rachel? Today, I read a paper from last year by Del J. Rose, which compares alien abduction accounts to the accounts of Africans being abducted and taken to foreign countries. He relies on the motifs common to alien abduction experiences, which were identified by Thomas E. Bullard. Quote, all of the other elements that Bullard introduces in this reading have their presence in the stories of enslaved Africans. Alien abductors become white, UFOs become slave ships, etc. But the difference will always be in how they end. For the enslaved, the experience of such human cruelty would have generational consequences, as communities to this very day battle with its effects. However, with the claims of alien abductees, we find an elation that they were able to see so much more of the known universe, and that their chosenness set them apart from the broader experience of society at large. Unquote. Rose not only identifies racial history in America as significant to alien abduction accounts, he even posits that the alien abduction narrative is fundamentally tied to race. It is an unconscious attempt of white people to alleviate white guilt, he argues. The aliens become the colonizers, which then places white people in the position of the colonized victims. While I think there is some truth in what Rose is saying, and that this dynamic even plays out in the Betty and Barney Hill case, I don't think I'd go so far as to say that alien abduction narratives are all about white guilt. They are in part about white guilt, and they can't be fully understood without understanding race in America. In a paper by Lucas Tromley that informs Rose's analysis, Race, Citizenship, and the Politics of Alien Abduction, or Why Aliens Do Not Abduct Asian Americans, Tromley writes, quote, the power of abduction is generated in part by removal from familiar ground into that unfamiliar space of an alien ship. The power of this dislocation is compromised if an abductee was not entirely at home in the place he or she occupied before abduction. Unquote. Alien abduction has a fundamentally different meaning if the abductee didn't feel that they belonged in the country they were living in the first place. This doesn't mean that Black or Asian American people don't report getting abducted at all. Barney Hill is a case in point. So while certainly alien abduction accounts have a racial dimension, and white guilt does appear to be involved on some unconscious level, in my opinion, Rose doesn't provide the evidence needed to show that white guilt is the fundamental origin of alien abduction accounts. It seems that these accounts also have dimensions of spiritual harmony, human growth, the shock of alien contact, physical and sexual autonomy, and so on. The racial dimension does definitely change these accounts a lot, though. What Rose reveals quite well is that while alien abduction has a lot in common with human enslavement, it doesn't have any of the real-world consequences of being forced to live in a foreign environment or having to deal with the ongoing consequences of slavery. So if abduction narratives are an unconscious attempt to alleviate white guilt, they fail where regular conscious compassion towards racial minorities as simply human beings is much more effective. Love, Tualatin Blue Orb. P.S. to all of my lovely listeners, thank you so much for listening. Please see the references in the episode script, which is linked in the description. There was an error in my entry from February 19th in how I describe the technology of wrasses and crows. They do not throw rocks at food items to smash them open, but instead they throw the food items themselves in order to bash them open. The entries for all dates can be found in the document outline. Please also press the subscribe button for more of my personal diary, share this personal diary with your friends, and consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/welcome to the earth. Tualatin Blue Orb's Earth Love Diary, copyright 2023 by Tualatin Blue Orb and Rachel Nelson. All rights reserved.